Okay, so it is. I'm really sorry about that interruption. But basically, what I was getting at is that this kind of science might seem sort of heady and impractical right now when we take a look at all the suffering that's going on in the world. But it's only by continually pushing our frontiers outward and exploring new resources and devoting money to science and technology that we can really affect change for these poor peoples of the world. You'll notice in Africa, the presence of landlines is very low. Sometimes the whole town sharing just one or two telephones. And yet, in modern times here, Africa is one of the highest percentage per capita cell phone use. They just sort of skipped the whole landline infrastructure thing because one satellite in space can provide service to millions of people, and even at pennies a day, it still will pay off that satellite eventually. And so we see these kinds of advances in technology really do provide some sort of benefit for people who aren't in a position to receive those benefits if it's not for us really pushing forward and keeping our eyes upward and keeping our economy expanding. And I'm certainly not one to advocate pure capitalist expansion economies, but we do need to invest in research and development for the well-being of the entire planet. Already, bioengineering foods have doubled or quadrupled or sextupled the world's food supply. And if it wasn't for that, there wouldn't even be any aid going to, countries sponsored by the United Nations or anything. So it's a very interdependent thing, and I don't think it makes sense to strip assets from our loftiest goals in order to bring up our most desperate people. I think that those issues need to be addressed with people in poor countries. It's just by grace that we're all not in that position. But I think that we are capable of more as well, and the more of these sorts of things like the Aurora that we explore, and like other planets or asteroids in deep space, the more of these things that we explore, the better it is for everybody. And I think it's very similar to the situation in Europe before North America was opened up. A lot of people are facing religious persecution, and there's lots of property trouble, and just strife with poverty and all these kinds of things. But the sailing ship and the discovery of new lands changed all that, and I think that's where we have to focus. And this is an image of the space shuttle, one of the last of a dying breed. This is exactly what we talked about. When you look at the flags there on the staff to the left, it seems like a very individual kind of effort. But in reality, we're starting to see the privatization of space becoming a reality, and that opens it up to players from all over the world. China and India, lots of countries that we used to consider third world are preparing to enter the space age. They have technology that's not terribly competitive, but it's comparable to ours at the same kind of period in our development. And, there are studies that say that the average asteroid in our solar system contains about $1 trillion worth of resources. And, of course, if managed properly, those resources will spread to lots of different people on the Earth. And if you believe in economics, the trickle down from $1 trillion rock would be quite substantial. And so I think it's important that we do continue to focus on kind of outlandish R&D projects. There's lots of investments you could make every day that go bad. Companies that are blue chip one day seem to be making all their money and put options the next in this economy. And there isn't the kind of security there used to be. So it's important not to think that, if we take care of starving people today, that'll help us tomorrow. I mean, it will. But is it right that we should give up all our dreams and goals that we have now to try and help somebody who is suffering, who may never achieve? These are the sorts of questions for a philosophy class, Mr. Canton, and not our space and science class. But as far as it pertains to the topic that I've covered, I think that it is very important that we keep researching and exploring these new frontiers. And I think that they will ultimately benefit all mankind And if not, like I say, that is a philosophical, socio-political sort of an issue, and not one that makes much scientific sense, because, well, that's just the way that I feel about it, and I think the facts speak pretty plainly. If we were to take all the money out of our research and development programs right now and put it into solving just one problem, being, say, world hunger, it would still be a research and development project in some sense, and I just think that's poor allocation of resources. I think that more specifically, people on the Earth, in specific countries, have issues to do with their local geography. I think a lot of people in countries where there's a lot of starvation either need better education or they need more fundamental help from us. We need to teach them how to cultivate, how to take care of their land instead of just dropping them bags of food. But as far as it pertains to the Aurora, I've had a great deal of fun researching this. I learned a lot, and I was quite surprised by some of the things that I learned. And I have really enjoyed this class, and thank you, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed my little voice-read presentation, if you get a chance to. And to Mr. Canton, I hope you also enjoy my research on the subject, and I hope it makes sense. And I just really enjoyed following the Aurora in my research, from it just being a kind of a legendary, mythical, superstitious idea that people had, to it being a scientific curiosity that we tried to apply experimentation and observation to. And now where it's going is really remarkable, and I think that it could yield a lot of good for us, and I'm sure that that could also be used for bad. But I hope to keep tabs on this as time goes by and see what's happening with Arctic science and the auroral phenomena. Thanks a lot. Take care.